to our second page of today's class. As our previous class, grammar translation method suggests that grammar and translation will be there. In the same way, the method we are going to study, that is direct method, that is direct. Direct, what does it mean? No translation will be there. Okay, direct. Everything will be done directly in the target language. If you want to study French language, classroom activities, introduction will be exclusively directly to the target language. That means French or Russian or Hungarian, what language you want to learn. And this direct method will have several names. It can be called natural method, phonetical method, anti-grammatical method, or reform method. And direct method, it will be focusing mainly on the oral proficiency, oral communication. Okay. One of the
you also say phonetical method.
Phonetical method, that means if you want to speak in the target language, your pronunciation will be correct, isn't it? That means if you can't pronounce a word correctly, then the person you are speaking to will not understand you, okay? And for this reason, this method is also called phonetical method. We know what is phonetics. Phonetics will study the correct pronunciations or the sound of our language, target language, what you want to learn. Okay, so it is the phonetical method as well. So this is direct method, that is the expression, several expression will be there. So direct method is named direct because meaning should be connected directly with the target language and without translation into the native language. And you know, one is cross. Okay? So concept will be delivered directly on the target language. Okay. So the direct method, also called the natural method, established in Germany as well and in France around 1900, appeared as an answer to the shortcomings of the grammar translation methods. What is the shortcomings? Grammar translation methods will be dealing on reading and writing. 1900, exactly, around 19. Grammar translation method will make you efficient in reading and writing. This is a good side and also the shortcomings. That means grammar translation method will not make you efficient in speaking. So, observing the shortcomings of grammar translation method, a new method came in existence, that is the direct method. And it is a method for teaching foreign language that usage the target language, discarding any use of mother tongue in the classroom, just like the examples that sometimes we can, or the teacher can initiate a rule that if you speak a Bengali word, you will get punishment. Yeah, in the same way, direct method will be applying in such a way that no usage of target mother tongue. Everything will be. Who proposed that? Francois Guin, and not Guin. Guin is a French linguist who was a pioneer of what now known as the acquisition studies and who pushed for language teaching reform. Actually, we had the idea that in initial class we have learned that observing the shortcomings of traditional methods, especially the grammar translation methods, this man, Francois Guin, said that we have to observe the child language learning scenario, and he initiated this method, that is the natural method. And Stephen Krashen cites him as a case study for language learning. So in the first half of the 19th century, French linguist Francois Gouin attempted to build language learning methodology observing the child language learning. So we know that grammar is necessary in case of GTM, but Francois Gouin said that children do not learn grammar. So how they can learn language? Observing the child language learning, Francois Gouin observed and recommended that we should learn language in the similar way as the children do. Children learn language naturally. So this direct method can also be called natural method. Observing the child language learning, শিশুরা কিভাবে ভাষা শেখে, naturally কোনো শেখে না। So towards the end of the 19th century, other reformers like Gouin turned their attention to naturalistic principle of language learning, and this is why most of them refer to advocate the natural method of language learning teaching that can be called the direct method. And in this line, we see another linguist. His name is Montaigne. Pronunciation is Montaigne. G will be omitted over there. He is known popularizing the essay as the literary genre. His work is noted for merging the casual anecdotes and autobiography with intellectual insight, and he has initiated also the natural method. So in fact, throughout the history of the language teaching and learning, various attempts have been made for the second language learning, and Montaigne described how he has entrusted to a guardian who explains the situation of his Latin learning at his 1 year age. Okay, so actually grammar translation method was boring, and for the cause of the accuracy, if anybody makes a mistake, কেউ যদি একটা ভুল করে তাহলে সেখানে তার টিচাররাও যেমন ভালোভাবে দেখে না এবং গার্ডিয়ানরাও খুব ভালোভাবে দেখে না। সো মন্টেইন এই জিনিসটা অবজার্ভ করেছিলেন, and observing the children learning scenario, he has found mistakes and problem in case of language learning following GTM, and observing that problem, Montaigne offered that yes, we have to have a natural way of learning second language or target language. And in addition, another American linguist, Lambert Sauvé, he also questions that can be termed as presenting and eliciting language. Lambert opened a language school in Boston, USA in the late 1860 decades, and his method soon referred to the natural method. So first time Gouin, second time Montaigne, and next time Sauvé. Observing the scenario, second language learning scenario in Boston, this person Sauvé established a school, and that school initiated language learning in the natural way, and that method can also be called natural method. So initially observation and research had been going on for second language learning scenario, and with the discovery of Gouin, Montaigne and Sauvé, we have got a method that is very natural, that can be called direct method or the natural method. This man is Sauvé. Okay, Sauvé and other believes that natural method argued a foreign language learning could be taught without translation. Okay, they saw that no translation will be there. What is the problem with translation? Translation and the memorization will not give you the creativity and will not make you efficient in meaning making. Meaning making, that means one of my teacher would say that if you want to learn language, you have to speak in English, chat in English, write in English, even dream in English. Can it be possible? It is dream in English. Yes, sometimes it is possible if you can meaning making, if you can make meaning in the target language. Okay, অনেক সময় মানুষ যখন রেগে যায় তখন ইংরেজিতে কথা বলে এরকম, আবার যখন হ্যাবিট হয়ে যায়, যেমন কিছু কিছু জায়গায় দেখবেন যে হ্যাঁ গাড়ি চালানো খুব টাফ, কিন্তু ঢাকার রাস্তায় দেখবেন যে বাস চালাচ্ছে ড্রাইভাররা, একদিকে সিগারেট খাচ্ছে, বাস চালাচ্ছে, এত গাড়ি, সমস্ত কিছু, তার মানে এটা তার একটা হ্যাবিট হয়ে গিয়েছে, ন্যাচারাল ওয়ে হয়ে গিয়েছে। ওকে, সো অবজার্ভিং দিস সিনারিও বিলিভস লিঙ্গুইস্টিক্স, they observe that we have to teach language naturally and simultaneously we have to learn language naturally. Okay. And without translation and without learners' native language. Okay. So that language can be learned. So here Subhe can be the precursors of the direct method in the USA. So Gwyn and Montaigne, they said and they gave the theory, but Subhe, what did he do? He applied this direct method in a school. Okay, for this reason we can call that Lambert Subhe is the initiator or the precursor of direct method. And next time there can be a definition. Then what can be the definition? The direct method in teaching a language is directly establishing an immediate and audio-visual association. Audio-visual association. Audio means after hearing, and visual means you will see and listen. So audio-visual association between experience and expression, words and phrase. Okay. So if I say the word angry, you will listen the word. That angry means something bad tempered. Okay. But if you show a picture with an angry man, so you will have an association with visual. কারণ মানুষ রেগে গেলে যে এরকম প্রতিমূর্তি হয়, ওই রকম ছবি দিয়ে যদি অ্যাংরি ওয়ার্ডটা আপনাদেরকে বোঝাতে যাই, তখন সেটা কি হবে? একটা মিনিং মেকিং, আপনার ইমেজ তৈরি হবে আপনার মনের মধ্যে যে এইরকম মানুষ রেগে গেলে এরকম হয়। That is the audio-visual association with experience and expression, words and phrases, idioms and meanings, roles and performance through the teacher's body and mental skill. Body and mental skill. Teachers will also always be the actors, in which way teachers will present the thing that can make the thing guaranteed. Okay, so teachers' way of expression also can play a vital role in the language learning scenario. টিচার যেভাবে একটা জিনিস প্রেজেন্ট করছে, হাত এত জোরে ঢুকাচ্ছে কিনা, মাথা ঢুকাচ্ছে কিনা, বা অ্যাক্টিং, সো অ্যাক্টিং, প্রেজেন্টেশন, বডি অ্যান্ড মেন্টাল স্কিল উইদাউট এনি হেল্প অফ দ্য লার্নার্স মাদার টাং. Okay, we have got another scholars in this direct method. That's German scholar F. Frank. Okay, so F. Frank wrote on the psychological principles of direct association between forms and meanings in the target language. Actually, in case of GTM, we have said that there is no psychological education or other theories are there in case of GTM. GTM এর মধ্যে কোনো theory নেই, but in case of direct method, you will see the theoretical underpinning. As we have said that method will come from a theory. In that regard, in GTM there is no theory, but in direct method there are theories. What are the theories? Psychological principles. So Frank found the psychological theories associations in direct method between forms and meaning of the target language, and provided a theoretical justification for the monolingual approach on language teaching. According to Frank, a language could be best taught by using it actively in the classroom. Using it actively in the classroom. Okay, so language should be taught actively. That means participation will be there, introduction will be there, not the passive way of GTM. GTM is student বসে থাকতো, শুনতো শুধু টিচারের কথা, but in case of direct method, active participation will be there. And whenever active participation will be there, learners will psychologically involve in those learning processes. Okay, that is the psychological theoretical linkage between direct method and language learning method. Okay, so rather than using analytical procedures, what does verb means, what does pronoun means, what does the other things mean, that is the theoretical things. But in case of direct, that you have to present this, you have to initiate, you have to tell this, you have to practice, involve in oral practices in this direct method. Focus on explanation of the grammar method in the classroom teaching. Teacher must encourage direct or spontaneous use of the language in the classroom. Okay, sometimes, okay, I say that, or many teachers will say yes, naturally students will feel shy, naturally everybody will feel shy. Okay, আমাদের নাকে নাকি লজ্জা হচ্ছে অনুভূতিটা আমার নাকে লাগে, ঠিক আছে। তো এক সময় দেখা গেল যে যদি মাস্ক পরা থাকে তাহলে মানুষের নাকি লজ্জা কম লাগে, ওকে। তো সেই রকম ভাবে ইটস ভেরি জেনারেল দ্যাট ইউ উইল ফিল শাই, ইউ উইল ফিল অ্যাফ্রেড ইন কেস অফ প্রেজেন্টিং আর থিংস। So in case of direct method, teacher will tell you directly, will tell you that yes, spontaneous participation of the learners will help language learning. So teacher encourage direct and spontaneous participation of the learner in the classroom. Language learning would be then able to induce less use of grammar, okay. প্রথমত সেন্টেন্স শিখেন, ওকে। তারপরে এখন when I was preparing for my junior scholarship in class 8, okay, তখন একদিন আমার এক প্রাইভেট টিউটরের কাছে গেলাম। উনি আমাকে শীতের সময় মাঠের মধ্যে বসে বললো যে রাইট আ প্যারাগ্রাফ অন বানিয়ান ট্রি। কোনোদিন মুখস্থ করিনি। বানিয়ান ট্রি নিয়ে হচ্ছে একটা প্যারাগ্রাফ বড ব্রেকটা নিয়ে লিখতে হবে, ওকে। তখন হয়তো বুঝিনি, কিন্তু ওই তখন প্যারাগ্রাফ লিখেছি। এখন প্যারাগ্রাফ লেখাটা আগে, তারপরে পরবর্তীতে এসে অনার্সে এসে শিখলাম যে প্যারাগ্রাফের স্ট্রাকচারটা কি, কোনটা টপিক সেন্টেন্স, কোনটা কনক্লুডিং সেন্টেন্স, ওকে। ডিরেক্ট মেথড উইল টিচ ইউ দ্য সেম ওয়ে। ফার্স্ট টাইম দে উইল টিচ ইউ হাউ টু স্পিক অ্যান্ড হাউ টু রাইট, অ্যান্ড দেন they will teach you, that means direct method will teach you the grammatical rules. So grammatical rule is less important. So within the sentence of course grammar is there, but grammatical rules, প্রথমে যদি grammatical rules যে যদি এরকম বলি যে ফাইনাইট ভার্ব এবং নন ফাইনাইট ভার্বের মধ্যে পার্থক্য কি, ঠিক আছে, এই পার্থক্য পড়তে পড়তে যদি এক মাস চলে যায় তাহলে কখন আমি এটার ইউসেজ শিখবো। ইন কেস অফ direct method that tells that first time they will make you efficient in using spontaneous usage of language in the target language and in the classroom, and next time they will teach you the grammar. So grammar is less important in direct method. Teacher replace the textbook in the early stages of learning. In GTM textbook you have to follow the textbook, and the teachers and the student have nothing to do out of the textbook. But in direct method, textbook will be aside and teacher will be applying his own method or the spontaneous way of active participation in the classroom. So textbook is not important in direct method. Speaking begin with the systematic attention to pronunciation. Systematic attention to pronunciation. Direct method has another name. What is that? Phonetical method. What is phonetical method? That means you have to tell. It is not restaurant, it is restaurant, okay. It is not procedure, it is procedure. It is not television, it is television, okay. It is not education, it is education, okay. So the exact pronunciation will be there of the target language whenever you will be pronouncing. অন্য ভাবে উচ্চারণ করলে অনেকে বলে যে স্যার আপনি বুঝতে পারতেছেন কিনা বলেন, এডুকেশন বললে আপনি কি বোঝেন না, তাহলে সমস্যা কি, আমাকে এডুকেশন কেন বলতে হবে। বা ডিরেক্ট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজে সে বলছে যে ইয়াস আমি বুঝবো এডুকেশন বললে, কিন্তু এখন যখন আপনি বাইরে গিয়ে কমিউনিকেশন যেখানে করবেন সেখানে তো তারা বুঝবে না, ওকে। সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু প্রোনাউন্স আ ওয়ার্ড কারেক্টলি। হোয়াট শুড বি দ্য মিনিমাম স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অ্যাকচুয়ালি। উই কান্ট, আওয়ার প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশন ক্যানট বি কোয়াইট সিমিলার উইথ দ্য ব্রিটিশ স্পিকার, তাদের সাথে হবেও না। এবং আমাদের বাংলা ভাষাভাষী যারা, আমাদের সবার ভাষা কি প্রমিত বাংলার মতো, যেটা হলো বৃহত্তর কুষ্টিয়া অঞ্চলের ভাষার মতো, সেটা তো না, তাহলে সেটা তো বুঝি আমরা, ঠিক আছে। সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু, ইন কেস অফ ডিরেক্ট মেথড you have to speak in the target language, and that speaking should be in the exact pronunciation, correct pronunciation. Known words should be used to teach new vocabulary using mime. Mime means mukabenai, and demonstration and pictures. So demonstration and pictures, okay. There is a word you will find that mnemonics. Mnemonics হচ্ছে the association of a word with some images or pictures. সেটা কি, যেমন আমি বললাম অ্যাংরি, একটা অ্যাংরি মানুষের ছবি দিয়ে অ্যাংরি ওয়ার্ডটা যদি বুঝাই তাহলে বুঝবে, ওকে। এখন বানিয়ান ট্রি বললাম যে বানিয়ান ট্রি, আমি বললাম যে বটবৃক্ষ। এখন বটবৃক্ষ, অনেকেই বটবৃক্ষ দেখেনি, তাদেরকে যদি বটবৃক্ষ বুঝাতে যাই তাহলে অনেক কষ্ট হবে। কিন্তু পাশাপাশি যদি আমি বটবৃক্ষে একটা ছবি দিয়ে দিই তাহলে কি সেটা বোঝানো অনেক সহজ হবে। ওকে, সো that is demonstration, mime and pictures. Pictures will help you to understand the language. So these natural language learning principles provided the foundation of what came to be known as the direct method or natural method or phonetical method or anti-grammatical method. So all things, natural method, naturally you will learn. Anti-phonetical means, anti-grammatical means grammar is less important, okay, and phonetical means pronunciation should be correct, and other things, the direct method. Enthusiastic supporters of direct method introduced in France and Germany, and next time Maximilian, especially the Berlitz. Berlitz initiated a school. Berlitz in fact never used the term, he referred to the method used in this school as the Berlitz methods. So this Berlitz, he initiated a school following this direct method, but he didn't say that it is direct method. He said that this is Berlitz method, okay, according to his name. This is Maximilian Delphinius Berlitz, okay. And following this, we have got some principles of direct method. In every method there will have some principles, okay. There will be teachers role, learners role. So in case of direct method, of course you will be getting that. In case of GTM, we have got some principles, isn't it? Okay, so you have to write in the same way. We will be getting some principles or practices of direct method. Classroom instruction was conducted exclusively in the target language. No native language will be used in the classroom by the teachers and also by the learners. Only everyday vocabulary and sentences are taught. Everyday vocabulary, that means what you do every day in your daily life. Early in the morning, you get up from your bed and you will be asking for a tea, bed tea, যদি আপনারা অভ্যস্ত হন, okay, so you will be asking, অনেকে অভ্যস্ত না, you can have the breakfast, okay, so you can say or ask your mother, yeah, I have university today, I have to go to office by 10, so for this reason I require breakfast ready at 9:30. So this is the general criteria, general rules. So what are the things? You are not using a very bombastic word. সাধারণত আপনার নাস্তা চাইতে, স্কুলে যেতে, গাড়ি ভাড়া ঠিক করতে, গ্রোসারির জিনিসগুলো কিনতে যে ইউজগুলো ব্যবহার করা হয়, সেগুলো তো অনেক বড় কঠিন ইংরেজি না। আমি আধা ঘন্টা ধরে কথা বলতেছি, কিন্তু এই কথাগুলো কি খুব বেশি কঠিন? এই সহজ কথাগুলোই শেখানো হয় ডিরেক্ট মেথডে, okay. So our everyday vocabulary and sentences will be there. Oral communication skill were built up in a carefully graded progression organized around question answer exchanges between teachers and students in a small and intensive group, okay. A small and intensive group, okay. So classroom, in that say, if a classroom is consisted of 30 students, teacher will make several groups, 4, 5 and 6 groups, okay. And in that extensive group, teacher will be communicating with all groups, okay, in this direct method. Grammar was taught inductively. Grammar is less important. New teaching points were introduced orally. Orally, that means naturally, if a student gets the idea of a tough thing, আজকে আমরা এমন একটা জটিল বিষয় নিয়ে কথা বলতে যাচ্ছি, তো এটা যদি টিচার প্রথমেই বলে যে জটিল, তাহলে কি স্টুডেন্টের মধ্যে একটা ভীতি কাজ করে যে জটিল কি না জটিল, ওকে। এই জন্য নতুন জিনিস যখন ইন্ট্রোডিউস করবেন, টিচার উইল ইন্ট্রোডিউস দ্যাম ওরালি টু মেক দ্য স্টুডেন্ট ফিল হ্যাপি। So new teaching points were introduced orally. Concrete vocabulary were taught through demonstration, objects, pictures. Abstract vocabulary was taught by association of the ideas. এটা তো বললাম যে অ্যাংরি ম্যানকে আমরা অ্যাংরি মানুষের একটা ছবি দেব, তাহলে কাইন্ড যদি আমরা বোঝাতে চাই, তাহলে কাইন্ড মানুষের ছবি কিভাবে দেব? দ্য অ্যাবস্ট্রাক্ট আইডিয়া, ঠিক আছে। এটা তো তখন সেটা কি করতে হবে? অ্যাসোসিয়েশন। vocabulary was taught by association ideas. So you have to, if you want to teach kindness, then you have to initiate a story that a person is helping a sick man, okay. একজন হয়তো অসুস্থ মানুষকে সেবা করতেছে, এরকম ছোট যদি একটা ক্লিপ দিই এবং এই ক্লিপের মাধ্যমে আমরা কি বোঝাতে চাচ্ছি, দ্য ওয়ার্ড কাইন্ডনেস, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য অ্যাবস্ট্রাক্ট আইডিয়া আই এম ইনিশিয়েটিং ইন দিস ডিরেক্ট মেথড. So abstract will be there, pictures will be there, demonstration will be there, everything will make language learning easy and natural. That is the principles of direct method. Both speech and listening comprehension were taught. Speech comprehension to আমরা বুঝলাম যে and listening comprehension, reading comprehension, you know that you will read a passage and you will be writing some question. Listening comprehension, what does it mean? You will listen a thing, you will listen a thing, and after listening a thing you have to grab the idea and you have to write the answer of some question. That is the listening comprehension. Correct pronunciation and grammar are emphasized over there. In that case, the Barlish school followed these principles: never translate, demonstrate, never explain, act, never make a speech, ask question, okay, never imitate mistakes, correct, use sentence, make students speak much, use your lesson plan, follow your plan, keep pace of the student, okay. So you have to observe the student's capability and following the capability. Initially you have to start the less stuff, then gradually you have to go further. Never speak too slowly, speak naturally. Never speak too loudly, speak naturally. Never speak too quickly, speak naturally. So everything you have to do here, that is natural. For this reason direct method is called natural method. Yes, never be impatient. Take it. অনেক সময় টিচার বলে না যে তোমাকে দিয়ে কিছুই হবে না. No. In case of direct method, encourage the students for the spontaneous presentation or spontaneous speaking. Okay, it's very natural. That means student will make mistakes. সবাই মিস্টেক করেছে, ওকে, সবাই করবে এবং মিস্টেক্স করতে করতেই এক সময় কি হবে, এফিশিয়েন্ট হবে. So never be impatient, take it easy. Okay. So direct method was quite successful in private method schools, but that was not successful for public schools because native speaking teachers are necessary. Pronunciation will be there, correct pronunciation শিখতে হলে, ওকে, আমরা হ্যাঁ এখন অনেকেই বাংলাদেশি স্পন্টেনিয়াস নেটিভ স্পিকারের মতো কথা বলতে পারে, বাট ইন কেস অফ ডিরেক্ট মেথড নো ইউসেস অফ নেটিভ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ. ইন দ্যাট কেস নেটিভ স্পিকার্স টিচার্স আর নিডেড. যখন এই যে কোনো জায়গায় যদি ব্রিটিশ থেকে একজন টিচার আনতে হয় পড়ানোর জন্য ভাষা, সেটা হয়তো অনেকের ক্ষেত্রে সম্ভব হবে না. প্রাইভেট স্কুলের জন্য সম্ভব, এই জন্য কি, কিন্তু পাবলিক স্কুলের জন্য সম্ভব না. And for this reason, this is also a challenge that native speakers teachers or native like fluency will be there. It overemphasized and distorted the similarities between naturalistic first language learning and classroom foreign language learning, as well as failed to consider the practical realities of the classroom. It lacked a rigorous basis of applied linguistics theory. So it is also for the reasons mentioned about direct method was criticized by language. So it has some drawbacks. Also, it requires native speakers teachers. It was largely dependent on the teacher's skill. All the teachers might not be proficient enough in the foreign language, and for this reason it is very tough to implement direct method in case of every teaching learning scenario. Okay, so these are the drawbacks. That means it requires native speakers teachers, largely dependent on the teacher's skill, and all teachers might have strict application of the direct method becomes counterproductive since teachers were required to describe avoiding native language. Okay, what I have said, that means teacher and the student in no way can use the native language. Again, for the same examples, I want to, if the teacher wants to convey the meaning of banyan tree, এখন বানিয়ান ট্রি কোনো বাংলা বলা যাবে না, and বানিয়ান ট্রি নিয়ে বোঝাতে হবে ইংরেজি ভাষা বলে. সো এই যদি আমরা শুধুমাত্র এই ওয়ার্ডটা ব্যবহার করি যে বটবৃক্ষ, তাহলে অনেকেই যেমন বুঝে যাবেন, কিন্তু বটবৃক্ষ যে উনি বটবৃক্ষ দেখেন না, ওনাকে যদি টার্গেট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজে বোঝাতে হয় তখন সেটা অনেক বেশি কষ্টসাধ্য হয়ে যায়। ওকে, এই জন্য since the teachers were required to describe avoiding native language, sometimes a simple and a brief explanation in the student's native language would have been a more complex to comprehend. Okay. So that is another things of direct methods. Okay, so we will not. So to conclude that it has some advantage. It focuses on the oral practice. The teacher's vocabulary such as words, idioms, and this method is good. As there is a direct relation between thought and expression, it helps the learners in having good fluency. In this method, the teacher proceeds from the particular to general, from concrete to abstract. So these are the things in direct method. There are some demerits as well. Ignore systematic written work or reading activities. So GTM follows reading and writing more, but in direct methods, reading and writing is less. Rather, speaking and listening is much more. May not hold well in higher level classes, whether the translation method may be more suitable. Actually, direct method can be applicable for oral proficiency, কথা বলার জন্য। এখন হায়ার ক্লাসে আমরা কি করতে পারি? হায়ার ক্লাসে আমরা রিসার্চ রাইটিং লিখি। হায়ার ক্লাসে হচ্ছে এমফিল এবং পিএইচডির গবেষণা। এই গবেষণার জন্য আপনাকে কি করতে হবে? কমপক্ষে 100টা আর্টিকেল পড়তে হবে। একটা আর্টিকেল হচ্ছে 5000-7000 ওয়ার্ডের। তাহলে এই যে অনেক সময় পড়ার জন্য তখন আর এই ডিরেক্ট মেথড আপনাকে সাহায্য করবে না। তখন কি করতে হবে? যে হাউ টু রিড ইফেক্টিভলি, কীভাবে পড়তে হয় এবং অনেকগুলো ওয়ার্ডের অর্থ জানতে হবে। ইন দ্যাট কেস translation method may be more suitable, and direct method can be applicable for the secondary or higher secondary. Okay, not applicable for the higher studies. Supporters only the limited vocabulary. It restricts the scope of vocabulary as not all words can be directly associated with their meanings. So whenever you will try to connect word with the meaning, sometimes it may create some problem. So that is the demerits of direct method. There are some criticism. Perhaps the biggest was the strict adherence to the policy of only using the target language. That is the criticism. Okay. Judicious usage of native language can be applied, but direct method is strict. You can't use native language, and that can be one of the demerits. Okay, so if I use 1, 2, 3 or 10% words in the classes, that can help, but in direct method you can't use native language. So it is a question, it is a problem of direct methods. Okay, so this is about direct method in short. Okay, so